give them 20 pieces of chicken, good chicken, then give them the duck. I don't build dishes that are pretty because they're pretty. I build dishes because they make sense. You know what I mean? This is there because it makes sense. And all my dishes, when you eat, you get them together. You get all the flavors together. And I mean, it's just caring about food. That's what it is.
Before we introduce our guest, our special guest tonight, we have 2 events to plug, 2 charity events, good causes. The first one is coming up on Saturday, April 15th. It's a charity run/fun run. It's a 5K, but there's also a 1 mile option as well. This is the inaugural Be Kind 5K with the goal of raising money for its Kin Wellness and Support Center.
Yep.
Bucks County's new innovative cancer center that provides free services to local cancer patients in treatment and recovery and their caregivers by offering a full range of integrative services like fitness, yoga, that type of stuff. All the good stuff. Help you make you feel better.
Nice.
And then the next one, what do we got here, Gilmar?
We got the St. Jude Fund brought to you by OBK Design. So we're currently trying to raise $10,000 to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And, you know, they basically help families and children for, you know, cancer treatment. And yeah, I think it's a great fund to donate to. Nick donates to this constantly, all the time, so that's why he wanted to partner with them. And if you donate actually $100 or more, you get a chance to spend the night with OBK for their showroom premiere, which is on April 22nd, and that's when we'll end the fundraiser and present a huge donation check to St. Jude. So you guys can, you know, buy your way into the grand premiere and also get a chance to win a pot set. I think it's a pretty expensive pot set. It's from Le Creuset or something like that.
Yeah, pot set is key, but I think the food at the event is what I'm after. So
yeah, we have an insane lineup of food coming up. So,
but speaking of food, we have Chef Robert McNally and the leaf blower guy outside.
Shout out leaf blower guy.
Yeah, shout out to the leaf blower guy. But welcome.
He gave me the weirdest look too. He was like, "What are you doing, dude?" And I'm like, "I don't know where I'm at."
Yeah, when you were walking up, I like peered out of the window and I was like, "Oh, I better go grab him."
Yeah.
And when I got out there, the guys were like looking at you, kind of like,
"Yeah, what are you doing, dude?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Do I call? Do I say that I'm here?" Thank God you came out. Let's put it.
So you're the head chef of the Yardley Inn,
yes.
Obviously located in Yardley. If you're listening to outside of Bucks County, it's a cute little town.
Yeah, cute.
A borough, if you will. Right it on the
Delaware River.
The Delaware River, but let's I guess we'll fix.
We have a room.
We got to get you closer to the microphone.
Oh, sorry about that.
You can pull it closer, get comfortable, do whatever you got to do.
No
worries. We just want to make sure
I want to be as comfy as him.
We want to hear the dog.
Yeah.
He's the coolest dog ever. But like we have a room in our restaurant called the Delaware, so it's like you can look straight at Delaware.
Oh, sweet!
It's really cool. All the windows, no matter where you sit. Like there's not a bad seat in that room.
No, and then like on top of that, like my garden that we, during like spring, summer, where we grow all of our herbs, it's right in front of that too. It's like such a zen area. Like every Tuesday, like I'll go out there and just look at what's growing, and it's like.
So you're the one that actually maintains that little garden out there?
I wish I could, but we have like a grounds person, and I tell her like kind of what I want for the season, and she goes, "Okay," and I'm like, "Can you teach me?" And she's like, "Yes, let's do this," and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is. It's awesome. Like I said, I go out there like every Tuesday that I'm off, and it's like, it sounds cliche, but I go out there and pray and be one with the herbs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, of all the restaurants in this area, you have one of the best spots in terms of nature and scenery.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You're right there.
And then it's like I was telling you, like my condo's right above my restaurant. So like when I look out my window, it's right there. And like it never gets old. You know what I mean? And it's like I get to see that all of that right then and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's it like living so close to work?
Let's say the right answer here. Gift and a curse, gift and a curse.
Yeah.
But like for someone like me who I love what I do. It's not a job. You know what I mean? So it's like, and my guys are my family. So it's like when I wake up in the morning, like that, they're the first people I see. They're also, it's like, again, gift and a curse. Like sometimes I don't want to see everyone as soon as I open my eyes. Yeah. But at the same point, it's like I've grew such a bond with everyone in my restaurant that it's like, that's okay at the same point.
Yeah, I mean, Gilmore's worked in restaurants. I've worked in restaurants. When you get a good group of people together, a lot of bullshit is tolerated in terms of people's personalities. You're just like, he just hasn't had a cigarette. He ran out of cigarettes an hour ago. He's having a rough time. Give him a minute. Go get him a Coca-Cola. He'll be all right. Slap him on the back.
You know, if you can see a quart container, like, you know what I mean? It's like if they know my moods, you know what I mean? And I tell my servers all the time, I'm like, you're going to hate and love me all in the same day.
Yeah, well,
because I say some shit that I'm not supposed to at points.
You push on the guys. I'm assuming at certain
absolutely,
points.
But it's like I've been there almost 2 years, and it's like I don't even really have to push anymore because my guys know who I am now, and they know how I like things, and they know what I expect, and they work really that hard anyway. So it's like
that's awesome. So when I first met you, you cooked for a group of us. I think it was like Nick and Steve Service, my wife, and maybe like one or two other people.
Yeah.
And I had been to the Yardley Inn like multiple times growing up. I lived in Newtown, so obviously Yardley Inn's just right there. Brunch. Or it was a staple location. Yeah. And then I had been there a few times as an adult, sat in the bar, enjoyed a nice burger or whatever. But when they invited me to go to the Yardley Inn, I was kind of, Nick and Steve Service are going to the Yardley Inn. What's going on here? And then they said, no, our friend is the head chef there, and he's, ready to feed us.
Yeah.
And I was like, so it kind of was this, I guess it was the time where you had felt like you had finally fell into the position.
Yeah.
Or was it more sooner you had taken it?
So I took the position as the executive chef to start. And, it's understanding that what I was taking too. It's like, it's a 30-year restaurant. It's been there for 30 years. And I respect that. Like when I go in, I'm not going to go in and go, all right, this is my food. You guys are all going to eat it and deal with it. No, I'm not going to get the feedback that I want.
You made the changes at the time.
And, I've heard this again from a really good chef before. Give them 20 pieces of chicken, good chicken, then give them the duck. You know what I mean? It's like I have to prove what I can do and prove that what I can cook.
So someone that can't necessarily, I'm nowhere near a chef capabilities. The enter button in my credit card.
Yeah.
What items does a white belt chef, what do you have to show the kitchen or the staff or the front of the house when you come in as a head chef? What dishes are you showing as look, I can make this? To me, I guess it would be chicken parm, which is everybody makes chicken parm.
Yeah.
But I make such a good level. What are those dishes that are that first level rung that you have to jump over?
I mean, so the best teacher,
because you said chicken.
So best teacher for me was failure. And it's always failing first. You know what I mean? It's when it comes down to it, it's learning how to cook and to learn how to respect the food. You know what I mean? And it's when I came into this and it's now that I'm a teacher, learning was a lot that comes with this. And it's I never call something traditional that's not traditional. I never call something that's not something that, if that makes any sense. When you come in, you look at my menu, if I say traditional, it's because I studied it. Because I worked next to the chef that was a traditional chef.
And the styles of culinary are you have French cuisine, right?
Yeah, I have
traditional.
I have different backgrounds of, like I said, French cuisine. I have American. I have I'm Italian by native, so I've studied a lot of Italian. Different Mediterranean cooking, Jewish cooking, stuff of that sort. So I take what I believe in as chef is right, and you've been taught by all these chefs or studied all this stuff, right? So you become really what you've been taught. You know what I mean? And you get your own cuisine, but you still respect traditions. You still respect where cooking's come from.
So is it more like the initial dishes that you have to prove yourself on? Are they more tailored to like the restaurant you're coming into?
Yeah.
So they have like their staple menu items, I guess you're talking about?
And, you know, there's things you just don't change. And, you know, but you also put your flares on things too. And, you know, when I come in, I start adding to the menu and I take away from the things I don't believe that are there. And then they start understanding little by little by little. And then let's say last year is when I put out my first full menu. So then, you know, it was taking all the regulars that were coming in and they're like, wow, they have a new chef and we're really excited every weekend to come try his new specials or come to his wine dinners, his whiskey dinners. And, you know, when it comes to all the regulars that come in, but I have an all right social media following, you know, so I bring new people in too, you know, the younger crowd, you know.
That's an interesting thing that I don't think I necessarily considered in like a small, respectfully, like a small suburban town.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you think of city restaurants, those chefs or restaurants themselves have large followings.
Yeah.
And you're watching like the kitchen or different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Like I don't know personally anybody else in the restaurant business locally that has a following like you do that can actually like
it was who I was taught by. You know what I mean? It's, you know, today's cooking is, you know, big with social media. You know, and I've taken class on promotion and stuff of that sort of how to like being who I am, and like I'm busy all the time, but I know how to create content. I know how to take pictures of food because I took classes on how to take pictures. You know, but I don't filter my things. There's no point. You know what I mean? And I let the ingredients talk for itself. You know what I mean? And
yeah, your pictures, every time you post something or I go to your account and look at the dishes, I already ate 2 lunches today and I'm getting hungry right now.
But again, it's finding the right lighting. You know what I mean? It's like I have a restaurant that sits 300 people. I can find a good lighting somewhere. You know what I mean? And it's like I do my pictures all at the same table every week because it has that perfect lighting that I get from, you know, let's say the Delaware. You know what I mean? I get this perfect lighting from the Delaware. It's like nature does all these things that you don't have to do. You know what I mean? There's no backup lighting that I use. There's none of that. There's no point. There's, you know, because you could see there's elements of my food that I want you to see. I want you to see how I build dishes, and how I put things on a plate is also like there's nothing that doesn't belong there. I've been taught that by plating. You know what I mean? It's like I don't build dishes that are pretty because they're pretty. I build dishes because they make sense. You know what I mean? This is there because it makes sense. And all my dishes, when you eat, you get them together. You get all the flavors together. And I mean, it's just caring about food. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Is
there any type of food or dish that you absolutely cannot stand? Not necessarily on your menu. I'm not going to limit it to just your menu. Like if somebody comes in and they're like, "You guys don't have asparagus." Is that what you said?
Asparagus?
Oh, dude, that's a good one.
That's crazy.
I had asparagus last night. I hated every minute of it.
It's like asparagus, like demi-glace.
Okay.
Why? Because it's played out.
We're not 1990 anymore.
Yeah, it is an old thing to make.
You know what I mean?
With asparagus, with like the drizzle,
the demi-glace.
Yeah, like it takes 4 days to make, but at the same point, I am sick of those 4 days of my life. It's been too long in my life to be making.
I'm so glad I asked that question.
But it's like it's like respecting traditions. People like that shit. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, but you don't go into a place like I remember there was I won't talk about like the altercation itself because whatever. But there was an altercation at a restaurant I worked at in Newtown because somebody wanted French fries, and it was not a French fry place, and it sent the chef off. With this one customer that was, you know, he was a handful at times throughout his existence as a customer. And I remember I never saw someone so goddamn angry so quickly when somebody was like, "Hey, special request, I know you guys can do it. can you make me some French fries? And it was just boom. It was like the whole kitchen was like, everybody watch out for this. And I was like, God damn.
Like So
Asparagus.
Asparagus.
Is that really?
you have those people, okay? So
but those are people
you
have
don't-
to cater to those
you
customers.
have to.
Because that's a lot of
Businesses
times
stay open because of those people.
Yeah.
But the businesses also stay open for the people who are open and trying new things, who are, do not change dishes. And like on the weekends, when I do weekend specials and I do special menus, my servers know they don't change those dishes. On my regular menu, it's available to, if you have a gluten allergy, if you have, some type of allergy, or, you could change them,
the little
like they add
accommodations.
mashed potatoes onto a dish that drives me insane. And thank God at points I do have a closed kitchen, because the things that I say in the back of my kitchen is just, it's not okay for a public person to hear.
But if anybody's ever worked, we've talked about this to death on the podcast. 2 years mandatory restaurant service after high school
Oh, absolutely.
or college. Like, it's kind of like the military. You go serve in the Israeli Defense Force for 2 years, or you serve in the I think I learned. I mean, it took me a long time to develop as a reasonable human being after a restaurant service, so it's not everything. But there was a large amount of like my ability to sell, get up in front of people, deal with stress.
Confidence.
Like, I could deal with stress at a young age because you either quit or you just took care of business.
Yeah.
Like, there was definitely people over the years serving or bartending that they just locked up.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So
It's-
when you have 300 people in your restaurant at any one
Every
time,
Fridays and Saturdays.
yeah. So what is your turnover 2 times or?
About that. I
So you
mean,
do
before lunch and dinner, yes. But for dinner, comfortably is, we'd like to do a 250 to 3, a little over 3, because it gives the guest a actual experience. We're not turn and burn either.
No, you're
We
not.
want you
What
to
do you
have
do? What are
a
you doing
good
on a Mother's
experience.
Day?
On a Mother's Day, it's eat your Wheaties and get some sleep.
Yeah.
It's Mother's Day. It's the worst day in the restaurant industry.
No, but how
Oh,
many
yeah.
cover? How many?
It's 7 hours. You're doing 150 an hour. Times that. Go ahead.
Bro, it gets-
shit.
I remember anytime they
So-
did Oktoberfest, anything like that.
I don't even talk to my mom on Mother's
the
Day.
most amount
I don't
of
even
money
call
I
my
made.
mom and say Happy Mother's Day on Mother's Day, because she'll
knows.
tell me, she'll text me and go Happy Mother's Day, and I'm like, I love you, because she knows what the day's like.
Yeah.
The most money I ever made as a server was on a Mother's Day,
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
or every Mother's Day. Yeah.
Like I
You
went to the
clean up,
front of
it'd
the
be
house for
$1,000
like,
day.
yeah. I mean, I went to the front of the house for like a year and a half, and the money that I call them food prostitutes.
These people.
These people.
Oh yeah, they rake it up.
I love my servers. I
Yeah.
love my bartenders. I love it. I love them, but they're different people. They're different people.
Yeah.
They don't.
Food prostitutes. That's
What they
awesome.
are. They are. But again, I love them. I couldn't do my job without them. You know what I mean? They make a disgusting amount of money, and it's good because you have to be good at it. Though. You have to understand.
At a restaurant like yours, it's expected.
It's expected.
Yep.
The service is expected. Like, you're not going to Chipotle.
No.
No. You're going to a
And-
restaurant that's been open for decades for a reason.
Yeah, and you want to feel that personable, that you want to feel like you're a guest in someone's
Yeah.
restaurant or a guest in someone's house. You know what I mean? You want to feel that. You want to not be able to be like, all right, how long to sign your check or anything like that. We're not like that. We try to give an experience that you want to come back to, and you want to, try different things all the time, because we give you what we come from our kitchen to the table. And, I'm not walking to the table with the food that I'm cooking. First of all, I'm an executive chef. When it comes down to it, I had to teach my guys to cook the food that is on that. You know what I mean? Like I wish like sometimes I worked the line last week and I had so much fun. I can't tell you the last time I really was standing on a line in the fire, and it's fun for me. But it's like, now that I'm in a bigger position, cooking is just half of my job.
Yeah.
And
You're leading a team of people.
and it's teaching, it's learning, it's adapting, it's especially the restaurant industry nowadays. I came into this 15 years ago. The difference between now and 15 years ago is big.
What aspects?
I mean, I live in Bucks County now, but I come from Philadelphia, born and raised in Philadelphia. I started in city cooking. For instance, like my first chef that taught me plating would dip his tongs in the fryer and smack me on the back of the elbows. Like you weren't allowed to say anything but yes, chef. You know what I mean? That's not how it goes nowadays. You know what I mean? Like that's not tolerable, nor is it okay. But back then it was okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like crying in the walk-in was normal. You know what I mean? It's like 100-hour work weeks were normal.
I remember one time my first restaurant job ever was at Isaac Newton's in Newtown. And have you ever been to that restaurant? You can like walk.
I know, yeah.
You walk from like the hostess stand to the main dining room, like past the line.
Yeah.
And,
Open kitchens.
Yeah. And it was a Sunday, I think, because that was probably the only day I worked. I was like 14.
Yeah.
And two of the dudes on the line got in a fight, and there's maybe 36 inches between like whatever like prep counter was over here and like the actual line.
Yeah.
And then the windows over here.
Yeah.
And this one guy picked the other guy up and threw him on the ground like in an area that I was like, how somebody's definitely going to the hospital right now. And everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And they got up and like it was worked out, and like next day that I came in, like I was like, those guys are still working together, and they're like friends. They were like drinking the like. I was like, dude, the restaurant world are all restaurants like this?
Absolutely.
My second restaurant job was even more wild than that. And then like the third one I worked at was like the one I stayed at forever. Was just as wild as the first two, and then I realized this is just what it is.
It's like brothers. It's the thing is, it's like you have a brother or a sister.
Yeah.
You ever punch him in the face by accident?
By accident?
In an argument?
Yeah, I mean,
I have, and then you just shake hands and get over it?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. What is it about the food service or the restaurant industry that attracts these colorful types of people that like bring these great stories to our lives?
So people ask it, and it's like you were kind of saying, it's a military. There's like, you know how there's people that are like born to be in the military, and then there's people that try and they leave because they're like, I can't do this shit. Yeah, that's what the restaurant industry is. I mean, I've been in it for 15 years, and it's this chaos that I adore.
So technically, Gilmore and I quit the military.
Yeah, we retired, bro.
Thanks for your service.
Honorable discharge.
Yeah, we tried it out. It wasn't for us.
It's not. It's not really. It's like.
That's a good point. It just seems that the people that are successful, at least successful in the restaurant world, there's tons of people that are not successful they're just miserable.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Yeah.
But the people that I'm speaking on, successful people in the restaurant business, either owners, chef owners, the successful ones always seem to have like either a missing part or like an extra part or something's
and
going on.
And a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So there has to be something in that mix
little
of
crazy.
something. Yeah, because I'm absolutely nuts when it comes down to it. I am like, I've plenty of relationships, friendships, all the above, because nothing comes before this. Yeah. And it's sad to say, but at the same point, this is how I feel. I'll never love anything as much as I love the restaurant industry and cooking.
How long have you known that?
I would say probably at least 8 to 9 years now.
Yeah, but is that, I mean, in some aspects, like in terms of like relationships and stuff, like maybe there's some like sad stories there, but there's a lot of power. There's almost like an enviable amount of power in knowing how much you love what you're doing. Yeah. Most people, like, that's not a thing for people.
No, because you ever hear people go like, I have a passion for cooking.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that mean? Okay, and then you ask that question. It was like, I love doing it. I was like, well, Becky can go get a pasta maker and learn how to make pasta at home and love doing that, right? She loves doing it. Or Jack can go get a smoker and learn how to backyard smoke, right? He loves smoking.
Get his Traeger.
It's great. Go work in a restaurant and tell me what the difference is. Okay?
I guess the difference is like one is you're choosing to leisurely participate in doing something. It's like kind of finger painting, and then there's like painting.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's different chefs too. There's private chefs, There's people that work on yachts and do all this. They know how to cook and they love doing it. They love that experience they give to a guest. But there's a difference between those ones and restaurant chefs though too.
Yeah.
Like we do this every single day
Because
of our lives.
you're prepping for
The masses.
a lot of people every day. You're not cooking for respectfully to private chefs, especially the ones we know. You're not.
We all have the same tattoo as well. So.
Yeah,
The service twins.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
The funny thing is, like,
we have matching tattoos with the service twins
Yeah,
too.
that's weird.
Is that
So it's
is that
funny
a little
because like
90s?
so I mean I've to watch what they have done throughout the last couple of years.
Nick and Steve.
Yeah, and
What's your hot take on it?
I'm super proud of them.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure, right?
I mean, like I did one of the dinners with them and watched what they came from to what they are now. And granted, the dinner was amazing, but it's just watching their footsteps go forward and forward.
Where did you meet Nick and Steve, I guess?
Doylestown, actually, when I lived in Doylestown. When I was a chef at Chambers 19. I met their parents before I met them.
Okay.
And I met Nick first, and I met him restaurant week. We were doing what is his name? Bob, for some type of news thing. He comes to Doylestown every year. And Nick was there. It was like 4:00 in the morning. We're doing this cooking thing at Chambers 19. It was absolutely exhausting. It's like I just got done work at midnight, and I got to be here at 3:00 in the morning. But it was a good experience. It was restaurant week, and restaurant week up here is a big thing.
So you met Nick through the culinary world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was he already a
Yeah,
cooking at that time?
we were. The thing is, they were still in restaurants. And then I met Steve. Granted, really quickly after, and they were all both worked at different restaurants, but they were all they didn't just start as private chefs. They started in what I do. You know what I mean? They were putting in those hours that I put in back then. You know what I mean? So it's like they found their calling of this is what they love to do now.
Yeah.
And I respect that because it's like they're not just like these culinary school graduates that go, I'm going to do private and charge all these people this money with nothing behind them. You know what I mean? They can. So I
don't think you'd be able to deliver the product that they do
without their teachers.
Without the building blocks.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't be sustainable. The service events would have come and gone.
Absolutely. And when I first seen it happening, I was like, is this going to work? Is this going to, but they're hard, very hard workers.
Adaptable.
Exactly.
Do you think that of all the traits of chefs, being adaptable is probably one of the top?
Absolutely. It has to be. You have to adapt to everything when it comes down to
the whole job kind of seems like adaptation.
Yeah. Like anywhere from it doesn't matter what's going on outside. When I walk into the kitchen, it's time to cook. It's time to, because, it's unfortunate. As I told you this, it's like the guest doesn't care about what's going on in your life. Nor does, I like to, do local source as well. And,
in terms of your supply.
Yes. And the supply demand is insane right now. It's like, because again, half of my job is cooking and creating. The other half is the numbers part. And it's like, how to keep to a menu
sure
with
the kitchen stocked.
Mm-hmm. And, if supply and demand when it comes down to it. And it's like, you'll watch the I don't know, let's say recently, the price of, everyone knows this, like eggs. It's like $117 for a case of eggs. And we're like, what's going on here? How do you keep to a food cost? Do you change the menu or do you keep it on the menu and charge more? And, you have your guests that go, why is this so expensive? We're giving you what we're paying for. You know what I mean? And it's like,
do you think people are understanding of the increasing costs of certain menu items because we're all kind of in this together, for lack of
I think it's getting there. where it's like, like you can't go to any really, like you go to McDonald's or Taco Bell, or I love Taco Bell.
Yeah,
and
you were saying earlier.
Yeah,
he said when he came in, he'll never create a dish as great as the Doritos Locos Taco.
Absolutely not. And they set your expectations to know that. That's how I feel. Because like I said, us restaurant chefs, we don't eat shit that we cook.
Yeah,
I would like to meet one of them, because we don't. If I go out to dinner, it's different. But when I'm at home, I eat Wawa 5 days a week. I eat Domino's one day and then Taco Bell the other day. And I'm 100% okay with that. And my cat sits there and looks at me like, what are you doing, dude? You're a disgusting person. I'm like, I'm okay with that. But
the ingredients, because
and then I'm so in depth with my ingredients and knowing where they come from, and what I put in other people's body, though. You know what I mean? It's like,
do you look at food from like that holistic level that like Nick and Steve or people like my wife do, that they're looking at like the ingredients and they're choosing those ingredients because it's just better for you?
Yeah, and I mean, I do that as well, because about me, like at 18 years old, I weighed 578 pounds. Like, so I've granted in 10 years I lost like 418 pounds.
Damn.
Dude, how do you maintain such a physique on a diet of Taco Bell and like Wawa?
Restaurant industry.
What do you just do, push-ups and stuff now?
I do yoga in the morning.
Okay.
My bartender likes to call it cigarobics. I go outside and smoke a cigarette while doing yoga.
Cigarette.
No, but like I do keep up with, when it comes down to it. It's like I do like 3 mile walks at night after service to clear my mind.
Along the canal there.
Yeah,
that's a nice
beautiful.
spot.
It's beautiful.
Like, I'm from Northeast Philadelphia. We don't see shit like that. Like where I'm from, we see like wild pit bulls and shit like that. Fucking canals.
Schuylkill
what the hell
River.
is a canal? Yeah. The water we drink is from. We call it Schuylkill Punch. You guys are clarifying water and shit like that. Well. But again, it's it's knowing that where we live is there's so many beautiful farms, and it's everything's so local, and anywhere from the butchery and the where I'm getting my vegetables, and knowing I can grow my own vegetables and grow my own herbs, and why not use that? Why not give the?
I
best
think the
sustained...
clientele there eats that stuff up.
Yeah,
no pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. When I always put, like, if I'm using a local farm, it's always on my menu, like Castle Valley Mill. Like I would use them for.
You'll shout them out on like the menu.
I put it on my menu, of course. Yeah. I mean, why would you not? I had them as.
Well, you don't. That makes complete sense to me, but I don't own a restaurant, and I don't see that happening in a lot of restaurants.
Well, it's because I've got to figure out how.
We have a shotgun button over here if you need to fire it. Yeah. Fire it.
And I said this. It's a lot of restaurants in Bucks County don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And is
that because
they just want to put you in their seats?
Do you think that like maybe in like and I'm not like a spin doctor. I don't care. Burn it down. But
I want to, but I'm not going to.
Do you think that there are restaurant owners in Bucks County that want to care but can't find their own Rob? Perfect example is
my
like,
ego wants me to say yes, but
Gilmar,
at the same point,
because Gilmar was a very talented chef
Yeah.
when he was running the Vault's Kitchen.
Thank you for your service.
And yeah, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you're ever
Need
looking
it.
for a job, you want to make pasta or something.
No, people have tried to snipe Gilmar back to the food industry
absolutely.
because
Yeah.
he left to completely change his trajectory because for a lot of reasons.
Mhm.
But I guarantee you, like if I was opening a restaurant, I'd be like, Gilmar, if you weren't the head chef, he'd definitely be like
I'm retired.
CFO of the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what
Smoking
I'm
a
saying?
cigarette.
Kitchen manager. Yeah.
So it's just like, and from like running a business myself and like talking to Nick or different business owners, talent is such an issue now that I think like I eat out a lot at places like the Yardley Inn.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that I go to and I continue to go to, like Nectar, the Yardley Inn, the Salt House, different places like that.
I was a part of opening the Salt House, and to watch what they are now, it's insane. It's
but isn't their ownership also in charge of the kitchen as well? Isn't there like a chef owner there?
Fifth.
You don't know? Maybe. I don't know.
We'll talk afterwards.
Yes.
We'll talk.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. But there's someone there that cares about the product that's coming out. I'm not saying maybe they're not in the head chef role, but if I were to open a restaurant, I'd be lying to all of my customers if I know dick about creating a good menu.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to bring someone in. I might know how to create the vibe in the front of the house. I might know cool, hostesses, cool tables, cool drink menu, but the food I don't know. But if I don't have you, I have to go out and get an imposter, which then I start.
Or you can play the imposter, which a lot of owners do.
You think?
Absolutely.
But isn't that hard to do? I would think that would be incredibly hard to do.
I'll never work for them. That's the thing. Because again, I've worked for 15 years to learn something, and then I know, again, I respect the restaurant enough to know what I can do too. When I go into the Yardley Inn, that's 30 years of a restaurant. I'm not giving them fluid gels and I'm gastrique this and that. No.
And smoke martinis.
Yeah, that's not that. But I know how to innovate the Yardley Inn. I'm not, the restaurant isn't built from me. It's built from the Yardley Inn.
So you kind of have to create, it's kind of the difference between creating commissioned art versus non-commissioned art. So if you go to the museum and you see a wild painting and this dude just painted it because he wanted to, versus, you're getting paid to paint a painting that people are asking with criteria.
Yeah. With the mashed potatoes.
With the potatoes. Can't forget.
And the thing is,
So is that hard? Is it hard to find the inspiration, or are there points of inspiration where you look at menu items and you're like, I can take this menu item and put the Rob flair on it and take this from an 8 to a 10? Is that what a lot of it is? So
the thing is, I believe this too. It's inspiration comes from a lot of things. For me, as executive chef who works a ridiculous amount of hours, I still stage. I go to different people's restaurants and learn from them.
How often do you do that, though?
Recently, I just went to Nashville. I went to Audrey and June, Sean Brock's restaurant.
So you do that multiple times a year?
Oh, yeah.
And for people that don't know what a stage is, because I didn't know what that was.
I go work for free.
You go to another restaurant and intern. Mm-hmm.
I go pick herbs, and I go and do things that I started doing, again, peeling potatoes, picking herbs, dicing shallots. I go and I act like I don't know anything.
Is it hard to find places for you to do that at?
No, especially because a good chef told me this before. It's if you have someone who wants a stage with you, you never say no to that, because again, what are you going to take my recipes and go use them? Good for you. This is cooking. All cooking is nothing but a stolen recipe anyway.
People look at cooking with a finite mentality like that.
Absolutely, and if you,
but how though? Because cooking, although it takes a lot of talent, you're kind of like a chemist in the sense that you're not creating new compounds. Mm-mm. You're just putting compounds together to make solutions.
Yeah, I make dishes. Again, so it's
interesting. Does anybody have possession over something like the chicken parm? Is there someone around here that's my chicken parm is the chicken parm? If anybody else makes it, what is that? That makes, I don't know.
My cooks do that with mashed potatoes. My mashed potatoes are so much better than his. I'm yeah, that is. You know what I mean? It's
is it
you have those battles all the time. Yeah. I'll have my cooks battle and my pasta's better than his, and I'm that's my pasta though. I hope you guys feel that, but that's what you want. You want that, battling.
It's a balance of competition and teamwork, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have to feed that?
Yes, because my cooks know. Again, my cooks know that I go stage. My cooks know that So the thing is, a lot of my cooks too have been working longer than I have. Let's say my sous chef. My sous chef has been cooking for almost 30 years. I'm 33. Obviously, I didn't start cooking when I was 33. 3 years old.
Prodigy.
Listen,
he came out of the womb with tongs. Yeah. Tongs first.
But again, I don't know everything. and to know that I'm consistently being able to be teachable. I learn from dishwashers. I learn from prep cooks. I watch and see how if someone does something differently and why. I ask the question, why'd you do it that way? But when I build a menu, that's not into play here. Okay, so I've learned how to do this. I've learned that this works, and want you to do it this way. Okay,
So
but if you have an opinion, because opinions are like assholes too.
Yeah,
we all have them, and they all stink. Okay, but
you're talking about creating the menu item. Mm-hmm. So when you put the ingredients together and you have a special, and Rob's fish special Saturday night, don't alter it.
But oh my God, that is the worst thing you can do. Because again, I have a menu you can do that too if you have an allergy or something like that. But if I'm doing a special, like I usually post on my social media, it's like I do 4 specials a weekend, right? I bring in a special fish. I do a special protein, like a game meat or some type of steak. I do a pasta because we do all fresh pastas in house, and I love fresh pasta. So I always do a different pasta. I do an appetizer and I do a dessert. Don't touch those dishes. I've worked very hard this week to make these dishes what they are. Yeah. And I've taught my guys, this is what I want. Do not think you have a flair here, okay? This is what I do, okay? This is where I create. And also, but at the same point, I go to my guys and I go, how do we produce this on a line to 300 people? How do we garnish this a correct way in a hit? You know what I mean? At the same point, you know what I mean?
Slow the line down.
No, of course not. You want guys mad at you? Slow the line down because of a stupid special that has 12 elements. No, that's not how any of that works. Yeah, they're going to be like, wait a second. You mean I have to add 12 different things to this? And no, you have to learn how to do that with producing the food that I produce.
How long into taking over this position did you put out like a Saturday special lineup that you were like, yeah, we've got this?
My first one, so my cooks still give me shit about this one, right? So I did an oyster special my first weekend, right? We have a freezer downstairs. I had a melon granita that I did to put in an oyster. I didn't want them to take it out of the freezer. Like they had to run down every oyster order to get the granita. They were like, wait, what, dude? That's not how that works. Wait a second. We're going to go get downstairs. We're going to get a quart container of this, and we're going to get it by how much we need. And I'm like, no. And then I had to watch the line work and understand what's going on. And it was just like, it was the trial and error of knowing, like, my kitchen isn't the biggest kitchen. I got to know how I can produce the stuff that I produce out of it. It's...
So you just didn't know? You came out guns hot?
Yeah, guns hot. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna show Yardley Borough what's up.
Yeah, exactly. Came in.
I like that though.
But at the same point, it was like that proving, and it was like my guys have been there for years and years and years. The least amount of time one of my guys has been there for is 5 years. The most amount of the time one of my guys is there is 28 years. I mean, you have guys that have been there for 10, 15, 9, 8 years that have been doing the Yardley Inn for that long. And of course, I would be ignorant to not take that experience that they have, but do my food with it.
Did you always approach like cooking or your job as like a chef with the grace and like awareness that you have now?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Trial and error is failure first. Yeah. Failure is the biggest teacher you'll ever meet in cooking. It was letting my ego first go and tell me who I was. It was doing things wrong and calling them something else, or it was it's so much when it comes down to like building menus and not being able to do the dish that you want to do, or not being able to have days off because of what you're trying to do, or there's so much that comes into play with that, especially like wanting to be the chef that I want to be. And it's like my goal is to have a James Beard and have different restaurants all over, major cities in the United States. And that's a humongous goal, but the same thing is I'm the only person standing in front of it.
Yeah, that was my next question, was kind of when you have the level, or I guess the approach, the high level approach to what you're doing, where you have the recipe of like self-awareness, like the team first mentality, thank you for your service. The humility, and I guess like, I don't want to say raw talent because you had to cultivate it.
Yeah.
When you have that like amalgamation, you do something big with that.
Yeah, and the thing is, what it has to be like, you have to learn that you have that too, and you have to understand that. Never let that go. Where it's sometimes these days are hard, dude, and where you're just like, I haven't seen my family in 4 months. I haven't, every relationship I have has failed because of I work all the time.
Because you have an ultimate goal, or is it like?
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes people stand in front of it, and that's my own ignorance to a point, where it's like, let's say, intimate relationships with like a female, right?
With a female species.
They're nuts. But anyways, I'll have that, and it's like, I'm tired, and I get the wrong phone call at a certain time, and she's asking me how my day was, and I'm like, I don't want to talk. I just want to sit here and eat at Doritos Locos Tacos and on Netflix. Please don't talk, because I don't want you to do that. You know what I mean? That's my own ignorance, though. You know what I mean? But it's also at the same point, at 15 years into this, there's also a trial and error, and I don't act that way now. Because now I've worked as hard as I have to where it's like I can have a social life. I can sit here on a podcast on a Thursday night, and my guys are killing it right now. And to know that I need to balance my life, because for a while it was nothing but the restaurant industry. I live and breathe, and the restaurant industry, and I do. There's nothing more important.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about cultivating all the areas of your life, because it all kind of rises together.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that work in, whatever your areas are, you as a chef are going to be rather limited at a certain point.
Absolutely.
Do you think you was joining the Yardley Inn like a restart from a certain point?
Oh yeah.
Or did you hit a point like that while at the Yardley Inn?
It was more of like,
I'm going to approach this job with I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to try and have healthier relationships.
And it was a changing of my life in general. Because let's say I had to run my life to the ground in the restaurant industry at one point.
Okay.
To come back up, because it will do that to you if you don't watch it. Because who I am too. It's like, I'm also a certain person, and I have no problem saying this. And it's like, I'm also a part of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I've been sober coming up on 2 years now. I got to the height of my career because I was almost 7 years sober before, but I decided to drink again.
What made you decide to drink again?
It was a cultivative of different things. It was the stress of a big job, of getting to that executive chef position and not knowing how to handle it. It was heartbreak. It was, I said at one time, I was like, I really wanted to learn about wine. So I'm like, and I also come from a family of Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, my mom's 25 years sober. My pop is 36 years sober. I didn't want to be them. I wanted to be normal. Like, I wanted to be like you guys that go and have drinks at the bar and have fun. You know what I mean? But I'm different.
What do you mean, you guys?
Us alcoholics, we call you guys normals. We call you normals. I'm not. You know what I mean? And I think
So there's probably a degree of your I guess this is what I was talking about, like cultivating your areas, like you going through the sobriety process, twice or however many times you've attacked it. Yeah. Probably helped you develop as a human, and then ultimately as a better chef, right?
A better person.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, it's like I work the way that I am today is one because of what I was taught in being a better chef. And then I say this all the time, I could never be the chef that I want to be without Alcoholics Anonymous and being sober. because I don't have that clear mind. That clear mind and what I get from what I do in both ways is so crucial.
Yeah, because you, like, with all due respect, like, you seem like a drop of alcohol. You're like you're like a gremlin.
Ask Steve and Nick.
Yeah, you
they've
seem like
seen
a
it.
gremlin.
Yeah.
Like you like.
Oh my
you
God.
could be like a good time until it's not a good time.
No, it's never it's good time for about the first hour.
Okay.
And then I'm just like, this guy, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
And again, it's again trial and error. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm okay. Again, it's a whole thing. It's like being okay with yourself. It's like, you know, I'm not the first person in Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's a lot of people that's also I wish they would have the 12 steps of AA in their life to understand.
I definitely think that like I've been going down a self-awareness path for I don't even know, like 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah.
And there's been times where I guess it's enviable to look at people in, you know, organizations like that, to have that structure to kind of tell you like, hey, if you do these things, you'll feel better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't have an addiction,
Yeah.
there isn't necessarily a structure other than just kind of throwing darts at the wall and trying to find like something that makes sense to you.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, for me, it's like alcohol wasn't the issue. I'm the issue.
Yeah.
The whole thing is like it's like I drank to get it to feel not like me. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Like,
Okay. It's like masking.
It is. It's just a big mask. It's like it's a heavy mask to wear, and at the same point, it's like I've been taught in, you know, life. It's like I help other people today. You know what I mean? It's like I'm able to be present to other people like me, and that's the biggest gift of anything, is to be able to see somebody else come from nothing and see their life get better and better.
Do you think there is a Rob down the road that's like got a family and balancing the restaurant thing? I mean, you're still pretty young.
Yeah, I mean,
You're 33, I'm 35, and the amount that's changed in the last 2 years it's like my life is night and day different, and like the possibility of kids is like a thing now. Whereas before it's like I was like, no, absolutely not. So it's kind of
so
like,
I just became a godfather.
I thought you were going to be like, I just had a child scare. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Well, I just almost had an opportunity. It wasn't mine, though.
I just became a godfather. My sister just had a beautiful...
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. That's awesome.
A beautiful little girl named Ivy. And, like, when I look at her, I'm like...
Damn.
You're perfect in every type of way. Like, I don't know when's the last time I, like, shed a tear until I seen her, like, do this lip thing where she got hungry and wanted to eat, so she started whining. So I cried. Like my eyes started tearing. I'm like...
Damn.
I love this. I love this little girl more than anything. And, you know, to have a kid, I
Never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah.
At the same point, you know. Yeah. But at the same point, like my life and my career is there's not much of a calling. Sorry. There's not much of a calling for it. Like to have a kid and want to go to different cities all the time and, you know, consult in different things of later in life, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It
makes sense. It makes sense what you're saying.
Right now, who knows?
Yeah.
But again, you know, who knows what is the future? I don't look into the future as much. In a way, like I try to stay in the moment of what life has to offer right now.
I think that's healthier.
It is. It's because, you know, a lot of people do that. It's like they don't feel content with life.
No, I was one of those people, and you know, sometimes I still am. And to find that level of like content where you're like driving along and you're like, wow, like things are, you know, it's not even just okay anymore. It's like things are pretty freaking good.
Yeah. And
you realize it's because you've, you know, put the tools together to realize that like it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And when I see particularly, you know, executive chefs or people, like I'm friends with a lot of you gremlins. You just like can't keep them up too late or things, you know.
Yeah.
The fryer needs to be cleaned. But it's interesting to see when people develop themselves,
Yeah.
how much further they can go with like what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
So like, what do you?
possibilities are endless when it comes down to it.
What is your ultimate goal? Like currently, like if you achieved, you could die tomorrow, happy man. Like, you're talking about some pretty big awards when you're saying like James Beard and things
I mean,
like that.
yeah, that's it.
Not everybody.
It's like, did you ever watch the movie Burnt with Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
I have seen parts of
So, you know, I remember when she asked him, she was like, "So when you get your third Michelin, what's going to happen? Like, is locusts going to devour? What's going to happen? Is all life going to change?" And he just says, "No. There is until you get that, you don't know what life is after." Set the goal. I set my goals very high. But the thing is, where I set my goals is that they're obtainable, and they're also something I'm working for. You know what I mean? It's not something that I can wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, there they are. You know, it's something that takes footsteps, it takes hard work, it takes dedication, and it takes, I guess, it's people around you too. It's, you know, I've grown a lot of knowing.
You have to build a team to get things like that.
You have to, absolutely.
So do you think, like, do you stay at the Yardley Inn long term? Like, what, like, how often do you change jobs as a chef? Like, what does that all look like?
I mean, in the beginning, I was a jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, every year and a half, 2 years, I'd be a chef somewhere else.
That's kind of necessary, though, to get like that.
It is, but at the same point, I don't see myself going anywhere for a while with the Yardley Inn.
Yeah.
We're a part of a restaurant group that has 7 restaurants now and are continuing to open new restaurants.
What
I
other,
see
do we know any of the other
Yeah,
restaurants?
like Lambertville Station,
Okay.
Peacock Inn, Washington Crossing, and they have, you know, different ones in Princeton, New Jersey. So there's always, I see the bigger picture with my restaurant company.
Is it nicer dealing with, I'm assuming, more of a corporate vibe rather than that rogue restaurateur that just like thought it'd be cool to own like a staple restaurant?
Yeah, it is, because you have to work with professionals.
Because I know, and I think at least 2 or 3 of them listen to this show. You guys got to stop buying restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, you have no business. Like, getting, like, you used to golf.
Yeah.
Like, why are we like?
Yeah, we're sick of your inheritance.
Showing up, buying a restaurant, and then like all of a sudden serving Sunday brunch and wondering why everybody's mad at you.
Yeah.
It's like, because you rolled in, you bought the place, and you decided to do brunch, which nobody wants to do.
Fuck brunch.
Fuck brunch. Hate brunch.
The brunch if you ever wonder, if you go out to brunch and you like wonder why your like server's fake cheery, it's because she's still hungover from the night before.
Exactly. And the thing is,
every time we out in the city, like we would go out every weekend at brunch. I'm like, can we go like 1, like 2, 3, like almost dinner?
Yeah.
Because you go out and the server would just be like, and then people would be like, what's up her ass? I'd be like, us.
Yeah.
We're here and it's brunch.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be here right now for this huevos rancheros.
The Tylenol didn't kick in yet. Can you give her a minute? Like, you know what I mean? Why don't you bring her a Red Bull and then, you know, say, hey, good morning.
She greeted you with sunglasses on. Like, read the room.
Yeah. Like, we work in pirate ships. Sundays are terrible. No one wants to work a Sunday.
You guys have a brunch, though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we do.
We're not promoting it on here. Nobody listens to this. It's
We
fine.
do a good brunch. My sous chef does a good brunch.
Yeah.
I've worked hard enough not to have to work brunch.
Yeah, shout out to the Sue.
Yeah, shout out to the Sue.
Yeah, seriously, he puts in work on. I sit in my office and do office work on Sundays.
Yeah.
But I've also, when I first started there, for the first year and a half, I worked brunch, and no one talked to me through the whole Sunday service because you didn't want to.
No, yeah, fuck
It's
that.
terrible, and I don't drink, so I wasn't hungover. I just hated brunch.
Yeah.
I hate brunch.
Why are all these people so cheery?
Yeah, I hate brunch too. It's
Yeah.
not fun.
Okay.
Damn Easter bunny.
Megan just got here and is about to get bottomless mimosas, and you know, about to have a great time. I hate you so much.
Fucking chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles. And who doesn't like brunch food though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like brunch food.
Yeah, me too.
I eat brunch food.
Is it safe to say, like, do you think it's like polarity, you know, when something's so powerful in one direction, like you have like the Republicans and the Democrats right now. Brunch is so magnificent that something about it would have to be terrible. Like somebody has to suffer. You guys are like the Jesus Christ of brunch. Like every day you get sacrificed. Every Sunday.
Yep.
Isn't that true? Because like the people, somebody has to, take the L for so many other people to have a great Sunday.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
It can't be like Saturday isn't as magnificent as Sunday brunch.
Do you know
so
how
everything's more even.
You know how many requests I get from my cooks on Sundays?
Oh, yeah. They love taking off on Sundays.
They go, all right, well, 2 weeks from now on Sunday, I need it off. I'm like, why? All of a sudden, you'll see their eyes go. He needs an explanation.
Church.
Yeah, church. Okay. It's God's day.
Quinceañera.
And
how many cousins do you have, goddammit?
Yeah. I'm sick of your cousins, okay? And it's the most hated day.
It is.
Because you just got done Friday and Saturday of getting your ass whooped, and then having to close your station, and then have to leave at a late hour, and then have to come in on a Sunday morning and do Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benny, dude.
Fuck that.
Soupy eggs. Get the
fuck that.
Idiots. Who's ordered one of those? Never. The question I have is, how do you, as a leader, I guess like for my own selfish reasons, like how do you motivate your kitchen? Like what kind of structure do you have set up, like either financially or like because they see the front of the house like benefiting from like the tips and things like that?
First, I make sure that there's no talk of money from the front of the house.
You just say keep your mouth shut.
I'll kill you. No, but it's like the money, when it comes down to it, it's always going to be that issue of servers making that much money, and then the problem of like, oh, well, how come I can't make that much money? Well, again, it's two different sets of your job is guaranteed for you to make this amount of money, aka cooks. Servers can work at Tuesday and
make $0.
Make $0.
Yeah.
So there's that problem, and then come tax season, cooks get paid a certain amount of money, and servers are paying money to pay taxes. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's an
equal evils, yeah.
Equal evil.
And but do you do any sort of like bonuses or
holiday bonuses and
get the guys, cervezas?
Yeah, of course, 6 packs of beer. When if not on the clock, obviously, and when it comes down to it, you have to let them know how good they're doing too.
So it's a lot of verbal.
It's a lot of verbal, yeah. And I mean, every week I buy Red Bulls. I just go to the store and spend like $100 on Red Bulls.
Yeah,
and they're all so happy about it.
Yo, Gatorades.
Yeah, that's the thing is the amount of caffeine that we drink is disgusting. When I don't even drink Red Bulls. I drink creatine. Like I drink Red Line creatine and I drink C5.
So you drink pre-workout
as I open my eyes. I can't get out of bed.
You drink pre-workout as like an additive, like you're just like
just
a coffee.
Start going. It's not. I don't drink coffee. I can go to sleep on coffee. Like no, like I drink. Like I said, a shot of red. A red
I'm gonna
line.
give you so many. I'm gonna start messaging you like some pre-workouts that might get your life started.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
one of my buddies who shall remain nameless texted me the other day from the gym, and he goes, "I took a full scoop today." He's like, "My only focus right now is not having a heart attack." And I'm like, dude, legs. I was like, dude, I texted him. I was like, stay calm. Default to legs and deadlifts, dude. Just start squatting weight.
Yeah.
Would get that blood pumping, hit the treadmill, legs. Like whatever your plan was for today, you are now squatting. Or deadlift. Lift something heavy and quick.
Jeez.
Or you might be going to the hospital. I couldn't tell him that.
It's caffeine is and again, as a person who is, who I am, again, we smoke cigarettes and drink, caffeine. You know what I mean? We don't drink alcohol. So if you ever go to an AA meeting, you'll see just people smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee. That's what they do.
Jittery.
And that's what we do. But at the same point, same with the restaurant. We drink ridiculous amounts of caffeine because we work 12 to 15 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to figure out how to do that with some type of,
Has Steve tried to get you on the Coggan water?
I don't know. I don't think he's trying to get, not me personally. No, but It'd
be interesting to talk about this amount of energy beverages and maybe doing some different water.
Probably, yeah. But the thing
Keep Rob alive.
So
it's like the third charity we're promoting next week. We're banning Red Bull from Bucktown. Actually, I'm gonna
this
get
is what we drink out of too. This is like, we don't have cups at home. I don't have cups at home. What the point is a cup? I drink out of a quart container.
When you came in with that, I was like, dude, this guy is a chef.
I love that shit. That shit brought me back.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I drink out of. Like,
yeah.
Like, say if I have company, I'd be like, do you want something to drink? And if I get something to drink, it's in a quart container.
That's fire. That's dope.
Why would you drink out anything else? Like, you get everything that you want in there to drink.
Yeah, you get 4 of those a day, you're good to go.
Yeah, and I drink, and like, I kind of push myself to drink water with those too. It's like, I fill that up 4 or 5 times a day with water.
Hell yeah.
And the thing is, I also like kind of battle myself with the Red Bulls and stuff like. I don't drink that shit. Like, I only drink creatine because it's a little bit better for you, I guess you could say.
Yeah, as long as you're drinking enough water.
Yeah, and I drink, I would say, at least 4 to 5 quarts of water a day. So, I mean,
you're the only person that's measuring their water in quarts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like
everybody's like, yo, I'm drinking this many liters.
Yeah,
I drink a gallon.
Ounces.
Straight quart over here.
Like I like pancadas or like Pellegrinos, right?
Yeah.
I open it and I put it in the quart container. Like, it just feels better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna like most people like either drink out of the bottle or like I put lemons and stuff like that in my quart container. Like, it feels better.
You should get your own brand of quart containers. I think that'd be cool. That'd be dope as hell.
McNally's.
Yeah, dude, that's fire. You should get your own.
Dude.
Yeah,
I'd buy some.
And like with kitchen tape already on it too.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope.
That's fire.
That's dope. Yo,
That's a
write
game
it down.
changer, right?
Write it down.
That's a game changer.
Well, I mean, we don't need to write it down. We just heard it.
Yeah, you'll hear this back.
Yeah, and then imagine like my dishwasher's getting these in the dish pit, and they're trying to like scratch this kitchen tape off.
They can't.
They're just throwing them in the trash at this point.
Oh, they're like some metal ones.
Yeah,
just
right.
Like some, just like some tape.
Those are the special edition ones.
Comes with tape, dude. You can customize your own.
Yeah.
You can be like Chef Rob.
There you go.
Come in with the awards, dude.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. Once we get, a hint that you might be getting a big award someday.
Yeah.
We're just gonna fucking make a ton of merchandise.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're gonna go big. Straight
I'm
to
off.
Rogan's.
Yeah.
Lord Rogie.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you on Rogan.
Yeah. And then you're gonna come to a dinner, and then like paired dinner, and then the paired dinner is gonna be in quart containers.
That's dope.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, do it up.
Whiskey quart container dinner. Just get lit.
I mean, that's a lot of whiskey.
Yeah,
But that's how like my bartenders used to feed me whiskey. Like, what's it called? Like my shift drinks.
Yeah.
Oh, here, Coca-Cola is just a color. Good. I'm glad you know that. So, you know what I mean? Quart containers have always been just a great thing for me.
What can we do for you? Is there anything big coming up, or like any events that you guys are hosting? Or
Well, we were gonna do. Unfortunately, we had a wine dinner coming up. But we didn't realize what was all going on. Like, we have Easter, Passover. Tomorrow is St. Patty's Day. And it was all like punched into a month, so we had to push the wine dinner back.
Okay.
I mean, other than that, you'll see like on our social media it said it got canceled today. It was unfortunate, but it was like we weren't going to do what we wanted to do through that. You know what
Sometimes it's not worth sailing into the storm.
No, and it's not. And
do you take these pictures?
No, we have a professional photographer who comes out, and
For the
we have
content.
and they come out and they do all of our, and if you can see on like my social media, it's like, like my professional shots are done by him as well. He's a very good photographer, and
he makes you look civilized in that. Look at that. Like, you look like you have you ever seen the show Peaky Blinders?
Yeah,
Dude,
I hear that all the time.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm like, really?
That's why the haircut. Just start rolling around with just razor blades.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. a big tattoo on the back of my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's my grandmom's name. People have no idea what it says.
It looks good though.
It's all right.
I was there the day after. I think
Shout
you
out to
got
Evan.
it. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it like the middle of the night or something like that.
Oh, we didn't end until like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night.
Yeah,
And I was still working brunch at that time.
Oh, fuck.
And then we came.
Oh, it was miserable.
We came to eat like that Monday.
Oh,
And
my God.
He came out and he was like, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with him? And Nick's like, he got the back of his head tattooed. And then you showed us what it was like. You were trying to keep it like hidden because it was like healing. You were trying to keep it like covered.
Yeah.
And he like lifted his hat up and we were like, oh my God.
And
it looked sick.
It was, but it was absolutely the most painful one I have. It was
It's this. You're getting your skull tattooed.
disgustingly terrible. Like I was laying in a
Your
massage,
brain's
like a massage bed with my face in it, and I have Evan just digging into the back of my head for 4 hours.
and it's Evan.
Yeah, and it's my grandmom's name, and first of all, my grandmom's like this crazy Christian, like she reminds you of like the Sopranos mom, like she is the definition. So I send her a picture, and I'm like, look, I told you I get your name tattooed. She freaks out, almost has a panic attack. Because she hates tattoos too.
Yeah.
So I was like, the only reason I got this tattooed here is because you give me a headache. No, but it's like, you know, I have the only two women really. It's like my mom's tattooed here, and my grandmom's here. And I'm gonna have poison ivy here for my goddaughter.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of like with tattoos, it's like I have like 4 that mean anything when it comes down to it. Other shit just looks cool. You know what I mean?
You have more salt on your hands, right?
Yeah, more salt.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
Who's done a lot of your work?
Jay Rill from
Oh no shit. I know Jay.
Yeah. He did a lot of like he fixed all my shitty tattoos.
Yeah.
Like that I had before. Like my boy does tats. Did my tattoos when I was younger. like Philadelphia, basement tattoos.
So like Evan several years ago.
That's why I still let Evan tattoo to me to this day, because you look how young he is and how good he is now, but you remember probably what he was like back then. Like I didn't meet him when he was like that, but like I remember during quarantine, me and him used to sit on the couch and just do graffiti, and it was just like and we would just sit on the couch and just like draw in notebooks, and it was like he would like do different stuff. Like I was good at doing like notebook graffiti. Like I sucked with like paint. Like he was like the opposite.
Yeah.
But like I watch how good Evan is with like, lettering and stuff like that, and I let him tattoo the middle of my throat. That's a big, big thing to say. It's like, all right, there you go, do that, or the back of my head, or I gave him some pretty trustworthy spots on my body. So, also like I said, I have a few of them. So
Yeah. You got a couple.
It
I think it's funny when people ask, it's like when you have like an arm covered or you're really covered, it's like, well, somebody will be like, and I'm sure like this happens like the Tinder relationships. It's like, how many tattoos do you have? It's like at a certain point you don't have any. No. You just have areas covered.
Yeah. I
heard that question.
Ask me that,
like, how many tattoos do you have? I looked at this person like, dude.
Yeah. I go, I have 3. That's what I did. That's why like I said, 1, 2, 3.
It's fair to say.
It's fair. Like, you know what I mean? I have 3. And that's...
Would you ever go like full face? Like, because you're going up the sideburns with the ivy.
It's not a face tattoo. It's a sideburn tattoo. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. But like, are you going to go?
Because I haven't committed to the face tat.
No, you haven't.
I have actually, but it's actually just me like telling myself that I don't have a face tattoo at the same point.
Yeah?
Yeah. I love that I have it. But at the same point, like I'm not... a lot of people like that are in my life, they're like older. We're not happy about it too.
Yeah, I'm sure that whole culture
like
before us is not about it.
The old restaurant manager and who's now the general manager too at the Yardley Inn, she was like, you have a tattoo on your face. I'm like, like no, I don't. It's my sideburn. So, but it's a dedication, I guess you could say. Again, it means really nothing except for that it's a peacock flower, and I wish for good luck. Just thought it was cool.
It is cool. I like it.
It is cool. Yeah, I think it's cool as shit.
There we go. I let Evan tattoo my face, so that shows you, something. Again, that's trustworthy, right? And how Evan goes, right? I go, I don't want it that big, and then I look at it when it's done. I'm like, That's like 3 times as big as I was expecting. With the head, like I had this little thing thinking out, right? Then it turns into this massive, big ass head tattoo, and I'm like, and then my uncle goes like, "You look like you just joined MS-13." I was like, "But it's your mom's name." He was like, "It doesn't matter. You look like you just joined MS-13."
He just starts coming in, throwing up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like I remember when I first got showed that, like when I was like, went to Christmas Eve dinner, they were like, what is going on? You know what I mean?
Are you all right?
Yeah. I'm like, great, dude. Great. I'm doing great. So, got a massive head tattoo with my grandmom's name.
That's awesome.
I think it's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
And it's tattoos are, but isn't that what chefs have nowadays anyway? It's like they were all tattooed and this. That.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't be legit without tattoos, yeah.
That's the whole thing.
And
it's
like a drinking or a drug problem.
That's where.
And a smoking habit.
Yeah, like
so dude, you are like you really have. That's what I was saying. You have like the full recipe for greatness here. All the good and the bad.
If I did not do all that, like where would I be?
Not a successful head chef.
No, and also it's like I also grew up differently too. It's like my pop is like he's a biker. He's been riding motorcycles for longer than I've been living, right? So he has all those like really shitty, old school biker tattoos.
Does he wear a vest?
He does.
Does it have name on it?
Yeah.
Can we say it on loud?
No.
Okay. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
No.
So there's only like a couple major ones you could throw in there. Use your imaginations, kids.
Yeah. There you go. But he's just like he looks like Santa Claus. He's like this big, awesome dude, and like. I grew up in a tattoo culture too. It's like one of my uncles that passed used to come do tattoo parties at my house when I was like 8, 9 years old. You know what I mean? When my first tattoo was like when I was 16. But it wasn't because I was like becoming a chef and I'm like, this is the cool thing with my tweezers hanging.
I must be.
Speaking of, I got gold tweezers as I'm sitting here. It's like
some people come in with jewelry.
I'm being like a complete hypocrite at the same point. You know what I mean?
But some people come in with jewelry, like a nice watch. Yeah. Like you came in with gold tweezers.
Yeah, and
it fits
my
the part.
Atmos animals. You know what I mean?
Those shoes are like I'm not a big shoe guy, but those could be me.
So I have a couple things.
If I rolled in there with like track pants and a pair of those on, you wouldn't even question it.
Nah, I could see you in those.
Those better come with like yellow sunglasses.
He has a pair of Royals on, so I mean,
Gilmore has like hundreds of sneakers.
As you should.
I used to collect sneakers with my brother.
I did like from 06. I started in 06, so I was like a big SB collector first, and then
that was the Nike skateboard line, right?
Yeah, like I had a pair of Pigeon SBs.
Oh shit! No way.
I stood outside in New York, so sneakers they're a culture. It's not like something you just pick up. You know what I mean? Like, what's more important, my electric bill or these pair of shoes that are coming? It's a culture. You know what I mean? It's a thing. You know what I mean?
Is that what you're telling people that are listening? Like next time you might make like an unsavory sneaker purchase when the electric bills due, just reference it how it's part of your culture.
My room in my actual my apartment, it's disgusting.
Is that like when people try and get service dogs that aren't really service dogs on airplanes? It's like, well, this is part of my culture, so you have to accept this.
Yeah. It's like
What about these sneakers are part of your culture, Rob? Because this makes me feel like you're from like, West Africa jungle or something.
I'm one of those. I like animal print. It's weird.
You're
like usually like women say that shit, but I don't give a fuck. I like cheetah print and like cat print because I'm a cat dad. Okay. So I love cat shit too. You know what I mean? Like, and then like if I'm with a female too, like I'll buy her shit that has cat print on it.
Yeah, so
I'm weird. It's a weird thing. Is that weird?
No, dude. Be okay. Do you have any like tiger print or cheetah print tattoos?
I was thinking about getting one.
I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah. I feel like I should. I should do it as a head tattoo though. You know what I mean?
Just do like the side of your ears and shit.
Right there, just a big. I pick one on this one because they have all the prints of different, and I love it because Atmos did this shoe, and they did a brother to it, which is the same type of shoe. And they're such a gorgeous sneaker. But I
picture you now with like cheetah print everything in your house, like your sheets are print.
I have my comforter. I have a comforter that's cheetah print. when I really want to get weird. So he's just brought them up. The elephants, they're a grail for me right there. It's like we have this thing, right? So again, I was talking about the pigeons, right?
Those are $1,100 sneakers.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
But why?
Because again,
it's culture.
It's a culture. Mm-hmm.
I got you.
And you don't put price tags on something that you really love, I guess you could say too. It's like when I open a box of sneakers, sometimes I just go, this is what life's about.
Yeah, you smell the new shoe. And
oh, my God. Just putting my nose in a new shoe.
Maybe this is what I've been missing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why I'm an incomplete human. I'm going to talk about this.
It's an expensive hobby.
Do I suggest... That's good. I'm glad you said it. Do I suggest doing this? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
sometimes I wish I had the same size shoe as Gilmer.
We're about a half size off.
What size are you?
Yeah,
I'm an 8.5, 9, so...
Oh, we're the same size.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting rid of my collection because I'm in the process of being an adult. I hate it.
Well, dude, let's see. Let's send me and Gilmar over here some pictures.
Yeah, well, because like I need like.
Yeah, dude, we got. I can find this, dude.
But yeah, I'm trying to be like an actual adult. You know what I mean? Because when I walk into my room, like, it's sneakers everywhere, and it's like I have like a whole shrine, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's like $15,000 to $20,000 worth of shoes, and I'm like, I'm 33.
And you got a Honda Civic in your closet.
Basically.
I do, and like, so I go to it, and I go, I work 60 to 70 hours a week. When the fuck am I going to wear any of these? So now I'm just like more like the quality over quantity now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like those are a hit. They're a grail for me. So it's like when I sell 10 pairs, I'm going to get a pair of elephants. You know what I mean?
So you're not liquidating. You're reallocating.
No, we're going to say that I'm becoming an adult. Okay.
So are you going to go from shoes to like crypto? You're going to reinvest?
No, I think I'm just going to like have a good credit score and show. Good credit score.
Yo, shout out to good credit scores.
Yeah, dude. Like, shit.
You're big, dude. Are you all right?
I don't know, dude.
I'm gonna have to come in and eat at the restaurant before something happens to you.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, like because it's crazy. Like when you become an adult, it's like good and bad.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
And then when you get to a certain point, like again, it's like I'm used to like spending my money on dumb shit and spending a lot of it, where it's like I don't save it, blow it before it's gone, and then now it's just like I'm like trying to like worry about those like adult things, you know, putting money away, maybe taking a trip somewhere. Like that sounds so corny. I want to blow it on sneakers, but I can't do that nowadays. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, you're like you're coming out of the cocoon.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're in a new shit now.
Yeah, like, and I think I've covered my body in tattoos enough where it's like I can't spend it really on that many anymore. So you know, I do have room left. Yeah,
there's a couple spots.
Yeah, like I haven't touched a lot of my legs yet, so I can still look there.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's like you find your couple things that you like in life, right?
Yeah.
There has to be like one or two things that you spent, like there isn't really a price
you're
tag.
looking at it.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, like cars, tools, art. I'm like weirdly into art. Like
I started recently oh my God. So that's a big thing for me is like my cookbook collection is pretty impressive. I would say that because one chef said to me this a while ago. Like I had like a bunch of cool knives. I was only like 5 years into this. And he goes, well, your knives are cool. How many cookbooks do you have? I only had like 2 or 3. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, what are you really investing in? He's like, you're investing in cool knives? He's like, you're not allowed to use them on my line anyway. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
He's like, so once he said that to me, and like people like me, we that one little thing that they'll say, someone will say, it'll latch onto them. And they'll take that and go, So then
you run right to the ends in.
Run right to it. Like, especially like people with knowledge. I love people with knowledge. Like, and they're like good off in different ways. It's like people you can learn from because it's like you just start being like a better person from those people. Bless you.
Yeah, God bless me. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know what I mean?
I think I love books.
Love books.
I love the internet too.
I've been appreciating books lately.
Yeah.
Like
Books are great.
Yeah, I think I was telling you earlier before the podcast started about this book called Visual Thinking, or I think it's Visual
I cut you
Learning.
off. You didn't finish that.
Oh, so it's I feel that, you know, industries that we're all in, it's a lot of handwork. Well, I got into cooking and all that and you're also in the restaurant business. So I feel that book kind of speaks to who we are as people, because we're, you know, maybe we were good in school or not, but we were best with our hands, and we were best with just watching and learning that way rather than reading.
Hands-on.
Exactly. We're hands-on people. So I think if you guys haven't given it a chance or heard of the book, check it out. It's called Visual Thinking, I believe.
I'm definitely gonna
Dude,
definitely
it's right up our alley.
I don't think
I'll
anybody
go right on Amazon right now.
I don't think anybody's made to learn the way we were made to learn.
Oh, no.
I don't think it's a real thing. I don't think, because I used to say, oh, I wasn't built for that. But now that I look back on it, I don't think anybody was really built for that. It's just not a real, we've been teaching that way for a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think trial by fire, getting out into the world and just like living life. I think school nowadays doesn't teach you how to live.
No.
It does something else.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into conspiracies or any bullshit like that. It's just not what we need. And I don't know exactly what we need, but it's not what we have. Yeah,
and the thing is, it's like with teaching in schools, like I do better with the hands-on, like you were saying. I do. But studying something is definitely something that I take a lot of joy in, like sitting down and like reading a book and understanding like someone else's profession too. It's like, you know, it gets me out of myself.
Well, that
too.
aspect of learning, like books and things like that's good.
Yeah.
It's just the
school thing is weird.
Yeah, it's just the structure of like, we're only going to teach you these specific things, and then you're going to go home for the summer.
Yeah.
And the shit that they teach you when you become an adult, you're like,
it's like the
that shit doesn't matter.
It's like the culinary school graduates that get out of school and then expect a sous chef position.
Yeah.
Like you go over there and clean the dishes, buddy. Please. I don't care how long you've been in school. The way we start is that you start in a dish pit, you prep cook, and you might get a couple line shifts. But it's not just because you have a culinary school graduate. It doesn't matter how many times you've learned how to make the sauces we're going to tell you to make anyway.
Oh, yeah. I started in culinary school. And I remember when I was working there, this kid named Mike that I met, he was like, hey, look, you have a good head on your shoulders. Do you want a job in the kitchen? At the time, I was working at Taco Bell. So I was like, yeah, man, I want to get in the line. And they would just have me washing dishes. So I feel that I learned way much more on the line. Yeah. And, you know, going through the dish pit, being a prep cook, all that shit, than what I spent time in culinary school. Yeah. So it's like you definitely can't just come in off culinary school and think you're the shit. No. That you know how a restaurant works. Like, you don't. So
the thing
I agree.
is, what I give it, the thing is, it's true. It's like I don't knock culinary school at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It teaches you technique. It teaches you a very, I guess you could say, militant way of working.
It's like boot camp.
It is.
For the service.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and then you come into the real life.
Yeah.
And then it's like all that doesn't matter anyway because you're coming into a restaurant. So we're going to teach you that you're going to have to learn how to put out these amount of plates in this amount of time, and you're going to have to learn what a burn feels like and what a, you know, a lot of what. Like, thank God I have tattoos because we're at
fire.
Like I can't get fingerprinted. Anymore. Like,
did you know fingerprint science is complete bullshit?
Is it?
I was reading this thing the other day that if you have a good lawyer, like you could completely just throw the fucking fingerprint thing out of the window.
No,
it's not it's not a real science. Yeah,
I thought it was unique.
It's really flawed. It's a really flawed. There's a ton of people in jail right now that shouldn't be.
You know, I heard a lot that our buttholes are more unique than our fingerprints.
I mean,
more than likely.
That's
like
what
I only know like 4 buttholes, and yours is one of them, and it's very unique.
Let's go.
Really unique. Rainbow's is really unique too.
Like, so I have to ask this question because I feel like it's a form of meditation for me. When you take your morning shit, is that the best form of meditation? Is like you sit there and you're just like how you get your day going, and you think about the day ahead.
I don't know. When I wake up in the morning, I come out like a fucking rocket out of it.
Do you? You're one of those guys.
Fucking flies at it.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
And it's
what time do you wake up in the morning?
like 4:30. No.
Yeah. What time did you think?
No alarm. No alarm clock.
This guy.
No. I literally my phone over there. Like, see this dumb ring. I was gonna say the G word, but we don't discriminate.
Yeah.
This ring right here that everybody's like, why is he wearing this lame ring on his index finger? It's an Aura ring. This thing is actually a computer chip. It monitors like my overall existence and well-being, especially my sleep. So it'll tell me like when I wake up, I'll be like taking a shit, looking at my score for the yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like, not improving. Like this whole year, I think the past 6 months, I'm averaging like 6 hours and 15 minutes of sleep a night.
Damn.
But there's nights
That's
that
a
like
great night's sleep.
there's night, but like that number's skewed because like I got really sick from like food poisoning or something one night, and I got like 7 hours and 10 minutes of sleep, which is a lot because I like was exhausted from getting sick in the middle of the night that I like slept extra good. But the next night I slept like 4.5 hours. So like that comes
4.5 hours like a normal.
that comes out to
sleep
6.
for us.
That comes out 6 to 6.
That's
So I'm
crazy.
working on
that's
it.
how
I've been
I
working
slept
on my
last night.
I've been working on my sleep. I got
good.
it down. I got it down pretty good last year.
Yeah.
And then when I started making all these like business changes and like rebranding and like going back out on my own,
There goes
and
that
things like
adultism that we're talking
it just
about.
fucked my sleep up again.
Oh shit.
But it'll
Like, how does it feel to know, like, when you wake up, it's like it's still dark?
Oh, dude, I wake up and it's like
So
time to
early.
fucking go.
Like,
I
you're
go
just
downstairs.
ready to go.
This is the habit. I
Like,
go.
you wake up and do a push up to get out of bed, don't you? Like, you roll over and push up.
No,
to get up like that. You know what I mean?
You know when Master Splinter has the Ninja Turtles do like those back handspring things?
Yeah.
That's what I do out of bed. I'm just, and then like what happens is I wake up, I realize I'm awake. Rambo realizes I'm awake, comes to the side of the bed. Let's
He's
this
the
all
Rambo.
happens in like 3 seconds. I sit up, Rambo scoots over to my side of the bed. I
As
get
he
out of
should.
bed. He hops into the bed, and that's where he's at until like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Yeah, because that's a normal time to wake up in the day.
Yeah. So when my wife wakes up, the dog's still like just kind of lingering in the bed.
Yeah, because there's two people that are normal that wake up at a normal time.
Yeah.
Your wife and
Yeah.
the dog.
Yeah. So, but I get a lot done, dude.
You do. You get an 8-hour day done before other people wake up. And
Yeah,
do things.
facts. Yeah, that's an actual fact, and that's actually how I look at it, and that's
It's a great way to look at it.
I
too.
used to wake up with an alarm clock like years ago,
Really?
and then
And you don't wake up with one now?
No, I think it's stress related. I don't think it's like it's not habit because there's some days that I sleep in and I think I wake up like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good today. But most days when I wake up, it's like I wake up and it's mission is on, like we're time to go. Like there's no time to be wasted.
Yeah.
I go downstairs. I drink a bunch of water and then I mix up pre-workout and water. And then I go upstairs. I journal and then I read probably like 20 plus pages. And then I work out, and then usually by that time my phone's ringing, or like I'm at work or going to work or going to do something work related.
You're like a guru, I guess you could say. More of like
I think it's more of a response to like
bettering?
I didn't always feel good.
Yeah.
Like waking up that time in the morning, it wasn't like now some days I still don't feel good, but like now I wake up with like a sense of direction.
Yeah.
When I used to do that, I'd wake up and it was like I was fighting a war inside.
Yeah.
And it was like if I didn't fight it, like everything would be lost.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling. It's like
It
I
was-
have
it
to
was
get
more
here.
of a-
If I don't get to the gym, like
Task.
I won't get that done. If I don't get that done, then I won't get the next thing done.
Yeah.
If I don't go to the gym today, I won't go tomorrow.
So is it like more of like instead of task, it's routine, right?
Oh, huge routine. Because
Yeah.
I really believe,
Because I'm a huge routine guy.
yeah, I believe that if you fine tune your routine, like
Yeah.
there's an optimal routine that I'm gunning for always. And every time I tweak my routine, the goal is to make improvements of like everything else.
Of life.
Yeah.
Because I'm very routine too. But I had to realize that like if I'm doing the same things every day in this routine and I'm not changing something up to make the routine either a little bit better or to because you're just not having experiences. And that's what life's about, is about having experiences.
That's why I read so much, because I
Yeah.
try to implement what I read. If I think it'll work, I'll implement it.
Yeah. That's
And I've learned that like there is no faster way to make changes in your life than to reading all the books.
all the books.
Well, yeah, like when you feel
You should
like
go to jail. Maybe you get a lot of book
You
reading.
have time to read.
yeah,
Yeah.
good place to form
You can learn how to
habits.
make chi-chis too.
Yeah, good reading habits in person.
I heard those guys come out really well. They're like the smartest people that are out there. So.
Dude, yeah, they come out like fucking eggs Benny on a Sunday.
Yeah, like they love working Sundays, dude.
Just right.
They love working Sundays.
Stupid. So stupid.
Dude, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, I gotta check out the Yardley Inn again.
Yeah, we'll make time like maybe next week or the following week.
Yeah, I'd love to. I haven't been there in like 2-3 years, so
I'm sure Nick.
I want to see what's up.
Nick and Steve will want to go too.
Yeah,
that'd be a good time.
Dude, thanks. We'll put your social media, your Instagram, in the description if anybody wants to check that out. It's also Chef Robert McNally on Instagram. He's also, I guess you could find him via the Yardley Inn, which is at Yardley Inn.
Yeah.
Really pumped for you and everything you're doing there. I think it's really great. It's really great for the business. It's really great for Yardley.
Yeah.
For sure. And
they like me at Yardley.
Yeah, the Bucks County needs more places like this. The world needs more places like this. It'll be a better place.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just give a shit.
Yeah, give a shit.
If the world gave more shits, it would be a better place.
And we'll leave you on that.
Yeah.
Gilmar, Rob, and Andrew, Rambo on the floor.
Rambo, the real goat.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys.